And I think we scared them, let's be honest, because we ordered
Like, we'll take these 3 appetizers, and she's going to order 4 appetizers, and I'm going to order these 2 entrees. And they're like, what's
why
happening?
are you ordering so much food? We were like, hi, friend, this is Annette.
This is Jared.
And welcome to our Happy Family podcast.
We're passionate about happy, healthy relationships.
And that only happens with happy, healthy people.
So join us each week as we discuss the ingredients of making your own happy family.
Thanks for joining us. Let's jump in. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this episode of the Happy Family podcast. Annette here with Jared, who is looking super fly right now. If you can't see him, you can watch these episodes on YouTube. Jared is wearing Ava's sunglasses.
Definitely feeling cool.
Why are you? You know what? They actually don't look that bad.
Yeah, I know. I feel good.
What is that about?
Feeling good. Right here, right now.
Okay, well, anyways, if you need a visual, they are Purple Heart sunglasses. So, yeah, okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Welcome
I won't wear them the
today.
whole time.
We are talking about a fun subject today, which we recently have talked on between us and also with some friends and family, just out of curiosity. I'll probably put up a question box when we release this podcast just to see if people have answers to it.
I would love to hear those.
There's kind of those things where I don't know, it's fun to just see what people answer. So that is the thought on, like, where do you save money? Where are you more like frugal on or try to not spend? And then where do you splurge?
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
And when it comes to life and relationships and friendships, money is a big deal. Right?
Big deal.
I mean, it's a big deal that can make or break a lot of situations a lot of times. And so we thought we'd talk about money today, but specifically on this topic. And it made me think of a recent example where we went somewhere and I felt like they were trying to save money.
Yeah.
Right. And it is probably one of my pet peeves.
It is, definitely.
I don't know if I have many pet peeves. Like, I don't think I can just rattle off like, this is a pet peeve, this is a pet peeve. But when I think about it, this is one for me. So let me explain. Jared and I went on a date night to a really nice hotel in Atlanta, like a kind of like a day, evening, like 24-hour thing. And it was a nice hotel, right? Like super new.
Nice, yeah.
I actually feel like it had some nicer features than I've seen in other hotels. I don't know. It was nice, right? And you go to the bathroom, and I'm sorry if this is TMI for anyone, but you go to the bathroom, whatever, and then you go to grab the toilet paper, and it is like sand on your bottom. And I am like, why? Why, of all the areas that we wanted to save money on in this very nice hotel, was it toilet paper? I literally would like to know. I guess I haven't been so passionate about this that I have sat to try to make calculations on average, like the size of the hotel, how many rooms, like how much toilet paper, how much that actually saves them money.
Yeah, but you are passionate about it.
But why that thin toilet paper that feels like there's really not a great barrier between your hand and the toilet paper, let's be honest.
So then I bet what happens. You wound it around your hand 40 times. So I use more
toilet paper versus if it was a one of thicker consistency or paper, whatever. I don't know how you call it, paperweight for toilet paper. I don't know. I feel like that is something I would like to have a conversation with a hotel person with, because it happens at all the hotels. It's like a thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
And when you're trying to go somewhere nice, you just want the whole experience to be nice.
You do.
For me, I feel like hotels do not need to save on the toilet paper. They should splurge. So that is my pet peeve. But in life, let's say for us, moving on to like just us, Are you going to really wear those things the whole time? I like your pretty eyes. This the whole time. No, that looks creepy.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, let's get rid of creepy.
I like your pretty eyes.
Let's go.
Okay. Look at that. Ooh. All right. That's better. I just couldn't see you. What is a pet peeve or splurge for you, Jared?
Pet peeve?
Take it
Splurge?
away.
What?
What is a okay, now
Save
what
and
is a
splurge.
save and splurge for you? Yes,
Yeah,
not a pet
we're
peeve.
not talking about toilet paper. All right, let's see here. I would say here in my office, here we are right now. It's pretty cold. I decided to not put heat in my office. I decided to not put an air conditioning unit in my office. I wired for it, but I am too cheap to turn on the heated floors that I did wire
Which he
for.
actually paid money for.
Yeah, and they're nice. Oh, it's luxe.
I don't understand.
But I am too cheap to turn on the heated floors. But if I am traveling and there is like a $12 juice with some fresh ginger and something, I'm like, yes, please, give me 2 of those. But I will freeze my tater off here in my office 5 days a week.
I've literally walked
put a
in here and
jacket
I'm
on.
like, why is it so cold in here? Why don't you turn your floors on? Or in the house, he'll be like, well, let's just, I don't want to do this or turn this on. And I'm like, are you serious? Like in the summer, let me explain. Our house is like 78 degrees. I'm like, I don't want to be in the tropics right now. I would rather be, and he's like, oh, well, it's okay. I don't want to turn it too down. And I'm like, oh, come on. But I feel like with us, especially, yes, if it's anything food related, like I won't think about just getting like the best quality food or the best thing. But it's like, the other day I was like, I have like no mixing bowls. Like the kitchen we got married almost 18 years ago and we have the same stuff.
Yeah, like plates can be chipped.
Our plates
Silverware
are chipped.
Is a chaotic mess. But we go to a restaurant, we'll take 5 of everything.
I don't have matching silverware. I don't. I currently, if you open my silverware drawer, I have some black silverware color. I have some gold. I have some in-betweens. And the other day,
it's eclectic.
It's eclectic, but like not in a good way.
Right.
We had people coming over and I wanted to actually set the table. And I was struggling to find
matching
enough silverware.
That's
to make it. And to be honest, I don't know if you noticed, but the plates were not matching. I mixed matched the plates.
I did actually notice that.
Have enough of the plates.
That was slick.
So I was like, okay, well.
So let me out you because, all right, so there's a place you're like, this is fine. It works great. Just like me with like t-shirts from college that have holes in them.
He literally has shirts with holes in them.
I do not have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But then I'll see Annette walking outside with blueberries to give to our chickens. And I'm like.
And this is not in summer when our blueberry plants are full of blueberries.
What is happening right now?
Well, they need extra love sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like for me.
While I'm freezing in my office, we're giving the blueberries to our chickens.
When it comes to the animals, I will get whatever they need.
I believe it.
Like I will spend it. Or, a new chick. Sure, I'll pay, where you can get. Anyways, some chickens are so expensive. I'm like, oh, it's fine. We'll just get one of them. It's fine. Like, I guess I don't think as much of budget when it comes to certain things with the farm animals. But in other things, I'm like, I'm not buying that. Why would I spend that?
Why would I spend money?
It's weird how the brain works. Why is that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like things that matter. I think for me, the food thing is like, I'm investing in myself. This is brilliant. $12 juice, brilliant. Then it's like, and it's gone. Where literally, if you lit $12 on fire, you'd probably get more.
Yeah,
dopamine rush.
We went to dinner with these friends who we've been friends with a very long time, and we have never gone out to dinner with them. And we went to this restaurant in Atlanta. It's called Planta. It's a really good restaurant if you're in Atlanta or South.
Good.
It's a very good restaurant. It's a plant-based restaurant. We had been to one of them in Miami, and so we knew it was a great restaurant. And so we said, hey, come with us. And I think we scared them, let's be honest, because we ordered like
we'll take these 3 appetizers and she's going to order 4 appetizers and I'm going to order these 2 entrees. And they're like,
what's why happening? Are you ordering so much food? We were like, well, we're here
it's
and
fun.
We haven't been here. And then you get to try, because normally with Jared and I eating a plant-based diet, you don't get to go to restaurants a lot and get to eat everything on the menu, right? Like normally you eat like the sides portion of the menu or the salad portion or, one entree. But to go to a restaurant where you can eat it all and it's all really good food and we're not eating salads. Okay.
No.
This is like real food. Right.
Exactly.
And so I'm like, oh, come on. Right. So anyways, we go there and they brought out all this food. And I think they were a little shell shocked.
Yeah, they were like, what's
why so much food?
And it got eaten.
And everyone ate it. So anyways, okay. So spending or splurging, I guess there's all these habits we have. Do you have thoughts on that?
Okay.
On America, our country as a whole, like how do we spend?
We got some data on this. So there's like 42% of Americans treat themselves or splurge on something for themselves once a month.
Okay.
21% of Americans do it once a week.
Oh.
It's like, I deserve this. So I'd imagine for some people, it's like, I deserve this massage. I'd
like to splurge on myself with a massage once a week.
I deserve this manicure, facial, I don't know, something like that.
Okay, you just said all girl things. Do you have
Well, those are kind of splurgy things.
Or more girly. Some guys do that too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Golf.
Okay, fine.
Whatever else. So, yeah, so that's the data. And then it says, basically, there's data where Americans are increasingly prioritizing experiences over things to the point where now 74% of people they interviewed said, I would spend money on an experience before I would on a thing, something material. So that's probably different than it once was. And I think it's...
Do you feel like that applies to you? Meaning, do you remember an experience more versus like something someone gave you?
Oh.
Because, for example, you despise gifts. We've talked about this. Our love language, Jared's, is not giving gifts.
Yeah.
I mean, for him, receiving gifts.
Yeah. I mean, I remember some gifts, but I definitely remember experiences more, especially experiences that probably didn't cost much.
Interesting.
So, totally.
And that applies a lot, I think, for me now having Ava. If you think of how when you see things through a child's eyes and the most normal, not very exciting thing is so special to them that it makes you realize you don't have to do, all these things, or you don't have to give a big gift or do just the experience or spending time together is what's
and
a big deal or memorable.
I think we're talking about in a minute, like the danger of buying too many toys for kids is like bad for their mental health. Like that's some shocking stuff that's coming out.
Like I know I'm like cringe, but anyways.
So there's the points I was going to share. Yeah, on the American.
Okay,
stuff.
yeah. So I wonder how it is in other countries. I'd be curious. It'd be interesting to look it up and see how different we are.
Yeah,
because I feel like normally
probably first world problems.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, for sure. But anyways, so why do you think one should prioritize experience over things like actual thoughts?
All right. Just looked at my notes. I remembered to refresh myself. I think it's, long-term happiness. So basically they did a study on people who bought things they really wanted and loved versus people who spent money on things that they really wanted to do. And the long-term happiness, the brain is benefited more by the money spent on doing a thing, something, rather than buying a thing. So, I mean, that's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that totally showed, you get something shiny and new, and after a few weeks, it's not shiny and new.
It fades quick.
Fades so quick. Yeah. Whereas, do you remember that thing we did? And literally weeks later, you're still talking about it. Remember that thing? And there was this. And
yeah. We recently talked about how we both went to a 3-day retreat in Canada at separate times, and how that is something where I have a lot of memories and like positive, like it was a life-changing thing for me, and I didn't get anything cool or, like
nothing like tangible.
No, like it wasn't anything, but the experience and those memories and those feelings are very real and something that I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had something written down that I wasn't going to talk about, but then I was actually thinking I heard something recently and talking about how learning new skills can improve your brain health instead of just buying something. And I saw something the other day that said, if you took 18 minutes a day to harness a new skill, in a year, you would be better than 92% of people that try to do that thing.
Really?
So it's like just saying you just need 18 minutes a day doing this. So let's say drawing or whatever, maybe learning an instrument or doing these things. If you stick at it, you would be better than pretty much any, you would just be really good at those that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. If you break it down that way and you're thinking, well, maybe you could spend money. A friend of mine recently, she said, I used to love to draw and I haven't done it in a long time. Like maybe I need to start drawing again or taking a art class.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's interesting. At least for me being older, I'm not going to say old, being older, it's hard to think of starting new skills, but you see all these people that invest time and money into learning things or starting a sport or doing something late in life, and they get really good. And they're like in their 60s, 70s, like running marathons or doing all these amazing things. And they started it late in life.
Totally.
So anyways, that was kind of inspiring for me. But another area where it says, you valuing experience over things is if you declutter.
Okay,
and
so
lately for me, this has been, I don't know, I feel like I've had this switch in my brain on I need to declutter. I think having Ava and honestly just, you get just kind of your brain. I don't even know how to explain it.
Are you going to get rid of Ava?
No, I'm not going to declutter my child, but yeah. But I think just this mom brain, you're just thinking about the kid and everything else you're just doing kind of on autopilot and you're kind of in survival mode, I think, for the first years after having a kid, and then you're just going. But I hadn't really taken time, I think, to really clean out some things at home or just declutter. And we really did that, for example, in the pantry. Like it was always like you could find stuff, but it was a hot mess. And now it's like so organized. And it's not like the perfect Pinterest pantry with the jar.
Close.
Yeah, no, but it doesn't have like the jars with all the special labels. And like you could go extra. It's not like, Marie Kondo organized, but it is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And you just feel so much more peace going in there looking for cereal in the morning.
Yeah,
like I don't feel stressed. And so it's interesting how decluttering and just getting rid of, I think, just things that take up space in your brain or even in your visual like periphery or something, you just feel more like, so maybe investing in doing things like that and getting more things. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and that's where they did
deal.
The kids thing. They were like, it's literally giving your kids anxiety. They do not know which toys to play with. And if you really want to help your kid, get rid of stuff. But
I feel like, that applies even like to us as adults. Like maybe you have too many clothes. Like you can't pick like, oh, what am I, I was actually talking with your sister the other day about how isn't it nice that the kids, my niece and nephew are in a private school, they wear uniforms, and how it's actually nice you don't have to think about what they're going to wear.
Yeah.
Because like that was always hard in school. Like, what am I going to wear? Like, what's the latest trend? Like, are kids going to have like the nice, whatever jeans? And am I going to have like back in the day, it was like 7 jeans or I don't even know. This is a long time ago, but that kind of thing. Hey, decluttering, being simple is nice. So anyways, totally. That was long-winded.
So I think another one was relationships. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking about these new, was it Apple Vision Pro, these new $3,500 goggles from Apple. Just like prioritizing the digital world. VR meets augmented reality. Basically, you ever heard, I think it's a book even, Ready Player One. Basically the idea that in the future, everyone's just doing everything digitally. That as much as we want to convince ourselves that social networking is actual social, it's not. So I think spending money on being with your friends in real life doing things.
So not just being like on a screen.
It's not the same.
Right.
This book I read, I would love to do a whole podcast on it, but what's it called? The Man's Guide to Women.
Oh, interesting.
And it says one of the greatest things for a woman's longevity is the amount of time she spends with her girlfriends.
Interesting.
And as I've told a few people that, it's interesting how many guys have been like, or girls have said, my husband doesn't have any friends, which is sadly an increasing reality.
But this specific was talking about women.
Women got to do it.
I'm curious about men. There must be some stuff with that as well.
I'm sure there is, but for women, it seemed like it was more important. And I actually talked to someone recently who was like, I cannot be my husband's best friend, coworker, wife, like all these different things.
Like everything.
She's like, he's got to get a friend.
Interesting.
Fascinating.
Well, I think speaking of just like prioritizing time with friends and doing things, I do have some friends of mine where, they really save money. They really save money so that they can take big trips every few years, and they'll do it with friends. And I feel like that's really good because they're being like frugal in certain areas so that then they can do the big trips or do things, because then it's the experience. So, going to Europe or going to wherever, renting a car, driving and seeing this, going to, these games, doing these things. And that's what they've prioritized is, I might not have tons of money, but I'm going to try to save so that I can then do some of these things that are memorable with family and friends.
So
And I don't know. Yeah, I'm just going to say we probably don't do that enough nowadays. I agree. Because, for example, I remember when Facebook came out, which was like 20 plus, it was early 2000s. I don't even know.
1964 or something.
Okay. Anyways, you know what I mean? When people actually started using it, it was like 20 years ago. And I feel like.
That was a joke, by the way.
I mean, I know it wasn't that long ago. I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay.
We've really been using it, or I probably have had it really for like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And how before, even for myself, I realized you would call someone to know how they were doing.
Oh, that's perfect. I'm going to jump on that
when
you're done.
Okay, you would call someone to know how they were doing. You didn't even text back then, right? So you would have to call or meet up with someone.
Yeah.
Or if it was someone you went to school with, 10 years ago, and I haven't heard from Sally in a while, I'm going to, call her, whatever. Well, as soon as something like Facebook arrived, you felt like you knew what Sally was doing because she was posting like what she was doing. So you no longer, you lost that connection of actually reaching out to people, because we all live in this false reality of thinking we know what everybody's doing every day because we post our food and our,
Yeah, it is a false reality.
Our selfies. But, and I say that in all honesty, realizing that I share my life on social media, and I'm very aware that that is what I do right now for a living. But I will be honest, like, I don't share my whole life with you, right? So it's like there's a lot other things that probably go behind the scenes or that I do that you don't see. And so it is strange how we've become so much more connected, in quotation marks, but we're very disconnected. So valuing that. Yeah, go on.
So I read this thing. It said that girls who talk to their moms on the phone have an increase or like a decrease in stress, anxiety, and other things. But the same girls who text their moms, the same moms, have an increase in anxiety and stress.
Interesting.
That literally hearing the voice of a mom is different than just texting.
That is very interesting.
Isn't that fascinating? Yeah. So it basically showed me like, talk to more people. Because I'm sure it's not just moms and stuff.
To be honest, for me, it has crippled me in a way. The fact that you can so easily text versus calling. I used to not like calling. Or even when I remember, this is terrible. When I did my wedding gown business, I remember I had to call a lot of, people and do things back and forth. But for a while I was like, I don't want to, whatever. And so there was this service you could pay for. So it'd go straight to voicemail, that I could just leave a voicemail. So it probably still available. I don't use it anymore. Mm-hmm. No, I don't.
Well, people don't leave voicemails anymore.
Right. So anyways, okay, sorry, go on.
Yeah. So another one is the idea of anticipation and anxiety, that when we have events planned, we anticipate them. And basically, there is dopamine production in the brain of what can be of this thing, this event that's going to be so great. Whereas they say when you have like ordered something, and like so they basically compared, you've ordered a new iPad, it's coming in 3 weeks, versus you are going to an amazing event in 3 weeks. That the event, you have anticipation, dopamine, good for the body, so exciting. You have anxiety for when is the iPad going to arrive on time? Is it going to be what I want?
I have an example of that right now.
Okay.
But it's different.
Okay.
I ordered geese eggs, and I've been anxious from the moment because they have yet to arrive.
Yes, exactly.
And I don't know where they are, and I'm constantly checking the tracking.
Mm-hmm.
And they have yet to be here. So different than probably most purchases people would purchase and be anticipating for in 3 weeks. But I definitely hope they arrive. But that I kind of got those for myself because then they become an experience. Does that count as not a purchase and as an experience? Because it's like a live thing.
Your anxiety will turn into joy.
It'll turn into joy.
Yep.
But I think, like we were saying, the last point of why you should value experiences over things is because it creates lasting memories. And that's the thing. The things you most remember, the things when you ask a small child, what do you most remember? It is the experience, not the thing you got them. They forget the thing within literally 5 seconds.
Right.
And it works the same for us as well, for adults. Sharing in those experiences, doing those things. I think for like 1 year, we might have tried with our family to say, hey, at Christmas, let's not give each other gifts. Let's try to do experiences. And I still remember some of those things that we got for people or did. And we did it for like a year, but then I don't know, then we got off track on that again. But I feel like we should revisit that.
Yeah.
Because it takes a little creativity too. Like you have to think about it. You can't just go buy a gift card.
That's true. Why don't we talk about a few takeaways?
Okay, you go first.
One is to even have the wonderful first world problem luxury of saving and splurging, you have to save money.
Yeah, like obviously you can't just spend money you don't have.
Exactly. So budgeting, knowing what you have. Obviously, America is just awash in debt. So you can't splurge on something unless you've saved somewhere else. So they say in a relationship, I remember when I used to do marital coaching, it was like crazy how often one person likes to save, one person likes to spend. And then even with all of us, well, I'll save on this, but I'll splurge on this. You got to definitely in a relationship talk through that, but in your own life, like be saving, budgeting, not splurging in a lot of areas. Save anywhere you possibly can so that when you want to splurge, you can do that.
Yeah. And what are the things, I think for us, we'll just probably give you our example because everyone's very different. And for us, I think where we decided that we want to splurge on is when it comes to our health, right? Things that when it comes to our health or just relatimes.
Absolutely.
That's kind of the thing.
And I mean,
and then in other areas like, like Jared's t-shirts and other things, some things in our house. I mean, we don't buy, like, I don't buy a lot of, we don't buy like new furniture all the time. We don't like redo rooms all the time. We don't, it's usually things needed outdoors or on the farm. And then with our health and food. Yeah. But find what your priority is, find your why, what's important to you. And that's where you can try to save money so that you can splurge.
Are you
going to put those glasses back on?
Oh, sure.
He literally just grabbed the glasses.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, don't force me.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Don't make me put them back on.
I have nothing else to say. Well, you have to save in order to spend.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I will leave it there. We will be back next week. Thank you for listening. If you have an area where you splurge or save, we'd love to hear. You can also look at the show notes for more details on everything. And just thank you for being a part. Thank you for listening. Share it with someone else if you receive some benefit from it. And we will be back next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.